Wednesday show. Wednesday show. Wednesday show. We're continuing our Disney bracket right now over on the From Screen to Theme Facebook page and my YouTube channel. Or I forgot to post that. I did it on Instagram, but I forgot to post it on whatchamacallit, on Facebook. So here we go. There we go. Hello is Dino. Hello is King. I was going to say hello is Dino King. Hi there, Julian. How are you guys doing? How's everyone doing? You guys doing good today? Okay, so I've been working on our thingamajigger, our list. Today we're going to be continuing our Disney bracket, but I do have a problem. And I didn't have enough time to go through and look back, but I can't read one of my words because I was jotting it down so quickly. I was able to figure out everything except for one of them. I can't figure out. It says it looks like Priscilla Cat, but it's not Priscilla Cat. What's a Disney movie that would... Someone, I know we have someone. Shelly, there we go. It looks like they had a great time at home. And Shelly, you're the one who usually keeps track of all the stuff. Priscilla Cat, was that? It wasn't Priscilla Cat. What are our movies? I'm drawing a blank on one movie. We might have to replace it, or if we just have it so we don't choose that one this week, and then eventually next week or in 2 weeks, it'll probably be maybe next week. When we go back through the show, we'll possibly have it so we can figure it out. I can go back and watch our last episode. I just did not start actually going through and adding this thing in or putting all this stuff into my spreadsheet until right before we started the show tonight, which shame on me. But is it Aristocats? No, it's not Aristocats. It's definitely 2 words. I was scribbling it down so much. It's number 8. Doesn't like Priscilla Cat. I don't even know. The movies before and after were Mary Poppins and Frozen. I'm trying to think what, because I was thinking that darn cat. I can't read my handwriting though. Oh, look at that. Does it show? Look, Joe's been a member for 4 months. Thank you, Joe. Hey, howdy, hey. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a little thing about how to become a member down there. It's club. Oh yeah. We can show off your status and have it so look like Joe's is green because he's been here for 4 months as a member for that. Wait, let me turn this real quick here. I forgot to mute my TV or turn off my TV, I should say. I was organizing this while watching the TV, and apparently I forgot to go through and do that. Yeah, so that's the issue right now, that we just can't figure out what it's not Aristocats. It looks like Frostala Cat, but I can't think of what it might be. So if you guys know what a Frostala Cat is, let me know in the comments. I'm just drawing a blank. Or if you're watching right now and your favorite movie was listed last time, but it's not Pete's Dragon, Candle Shoot, Beauty and the Beast, Lilo and Stitch, Raya and the Last Dragon, Aladdin, Mary Poppins, Frostala Cat, Frozen, Tangled, Lion King, National Treasure, Moana, Little Mermaid, Finding Nemo, or 101 Dalmatians, let me know, and we'll figure that out. I'm really drawing a huge blank here, though. I cannot figure out what it would be for the life of me. Okay, so tonight we are going to be going through and continuing our bracket series. So if you have anyone who you might want to join in tonight to help waver your vote in a certain way, or if you're like the Frank fam and you want to have it so you have a complete rivalry inside your own household, invite your friends to come over and watch as well, and we will go through and have it so all that fun stuff will happen too. We can go through and have it so we break families up one video at a time. That's what we're known for around here. All right, let's get this party started. We are going to start the 764th episode of the Wednesday show in 5, 4, 3, 2. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 764th episode of the Wednesday Show. Today is April 10th, 2024, and I'm your host, as always, Brent Dodge. Hello. Today we're going to be going through and continuing our bracket series that we have from 2 weeks ago. So, like I said, if you guys want to have it so we battle to figure out what the best Disney thing is, come join us right now and bring your friends over as well. Spread the word, because we're going to have a lot of fun. We always have a lot of fun with these ones. The rest of them are just dull episodes. So now is the time to join. That's not true. Hopefully there's excitement sometimes. But of course, before we get to that, let's talk about our news for the week. First off, thank you everyone who's been joining us for our Saturday in the Park. If you didn't already know, every single Saturday right over on my YouTube channel, we do a live broadcast from someplace found throughout the Walt Disney World Resort. You never know where we're going to be, but I promise you we'll always be coming to you live from Disney. I do apologize. Last week I was in Madison for a wedding, and we were not able to go through and do our broadcast. So I do apologize if anyone was out there staring hopelessly at their YouTube screen, waiting for it to say live. Next week, though, or this coming up week, we will be coming to you live at 1 o'clock Eastern Time right on my YouTube channel. So make sure you join us for that. Which list? It was for the movies, right? Wait, let me just make sure. Wait, I can go onto my Word document. That's going to make it easier for us. Yeah, for movies. Number 8 on movies. Are you going back and watching the episode? That boy. I was going to ask someone to do it, but I also felt really bad. But if anyone's doing that, I greatly appreciate you for going back and trying to figure it out. Oh, wait, it would have been our first list, right? Yes, that was our first list that we made that day. Or no, maybe it was the second. I think I started right on this side, and then I went to the side. So I could be wrong. I could be right. I could be crazy. But anyways, I am crazy. Yeah, make sure you join us every single Saturday. Also, if you did not already know, we are slowly growing. Not slowly. Actually, right now, things have been booming over on my YouTube channel. And if you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe, because right now we are sitting at an amazing 4,202 subscribers. So keep on spreading the word, because we are trying to get that number to be 4,203 by the end of the show. As always, if you guys get more subscribers joining us as the evening goes on, we will go into extra innings, or in this case, it will be literally extra bonus rounds of battling our favorite things head to head to head. So make sure you follow, or if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe, or if you know anyone who would subscribe, send them on over so we can get some extra rounds here tonight as well. And of course, as always, tonight's episode is sponsored by our Sometimes You Want to Be Like a Tiger with Some Tails, but otherwise you just want your Patreon pals. If you didn't already know, we have our Patreon pals are going to be the sponsors of tonight's episode. Thank you to our Patreon pals out there. If you're in the chat room, give me an oh yeah. And if you're not in the chat room, well, I hope you're having a great night out there someplace. Thank you, our Patreon pals, for being the sponsor of tonight's episode. Okay, let's get this party started. So if you've never joined us for our bracket series before, it is a very simple, very, very easy concept to go through, but this is how it's going to work. Tonight, we're going to be going through. We have 4 separate categories that you guys chose last week with 16 individual things in each category. We are going to be having it so it's going through a March Madness type battle where we are slowly going down until we get to our final 4, then our final 2, and then our championship game. So if you joined us last week, the way we are doing this is we're having it so we are going through and going, you guys are choosing a number between, well, last week it was 1 through 16. This week it will be smaller because we did have some of our things fall out last week. So we are going to start off tonight with our first round. Oh, wait a minute. Which one did I not? I did not get rid of this one and this one here. Okay, I just got to make sure that everything is up to speed here, and it is. Okay, so tonight what we're going to do is we're going to start off with attractions. I need 2 people out there in the chat room to give me 2 numbers between the numbers 1 and 14. This is going to be our randomization to figure out what is going to be going head-to-head against one another in our first round here. So 1 through 14, throw them in the chat room. Whatever the first two numbers I see are going to be the first two that are going to be going head to head. We got number 7 against number 5. 7 against 5 is going to be an amazing time. Actually, I have no idea what it's going to be, but we will find out in just a second here. Okay, actually, this is going to be a pretty, wow. This is going to be a tough one. Okay, let's start off with a classic attraction. Actually, one of the oldest attractions found at the Walt Disney World Resort. Actually, the second oldest attraction found throughout the entire Walt Disney World Resort. Now, if you didn't already know, the oldest attraction found in Walt Disney World is going to be Prince Charming's Regal Carousel, which actually debuted or was created back in the 1910s. Shortly after that, like literally within a year of that being created, our second oldest attraction was created, and there was actually several different ones that were created all around the world. All around the world, people, statues crumble for me. But all around the world, we had several different things that were brought into Walt Disney World. Well, not back in the 1910s, but they were purchased from different locations around the world, starting in the 1960s when they were going through and creating the Walt Disney World Resort. Of course, we are talking about the Walt Disney World Railroad. Now, the Walt Disney World Railroad has been a staple of the Magic Kingdom since October 1st, 1971, when the Magic Kingdom first opened up. It is a classic attraction with 4 separate trains. Not all 4 trains are running at the same time. However, we do have 4 separate trains that are riding around Walt Disney World, bringing you on multiple stops around the wonderful Magic Kingdom, including stops at Main Street USA, Frontierland, and of course, Fantasyland at Storybook Circus. Now, throughout the time and throughout the ages of the Walt Disney World Railroad, there have been other stops along the way. At one point, it was actually just Main Street USA and Frontierland, and the Frontierland station sat where currently Tiana's Bayou Adventure is being created. Now, in addition to that, as time would go on, we would have a Toontown stop, and then the Toontown stop would become the Fantasyland station as well. There we go. Inside Out. Inside Out. Thank you so much. That makes so much more sense than the cat. I was trying to figure out what an I at the start would be and the word cat, but Inside Out makes a whole lot more sense. Inside Out. Okay, that is going to be added to our list now. It's not number 8 today, by the way, either. So just to keep that in mind when you guys might be voting on later on. Okay, so going up against the Walt Disney World Railroad, the classic attraction is an attraction that truly mind-boggled my brain the very first time I saw it. In fact, I did not speak, which is a very rare thing for me. If you know me at all, obviously you guys come here every single week and you see me talk nonstop for 1 consecutive hour, you know that me not speaking is a mind-boggling activity that just doesn't ever happen. However, in the year 2020, January of 2020 to be exact, I had that non-speaking life for literally like a half hour where I could only mumble 2 things over and over and over. That was so cool, and I was in Star Wars. That's right, we were talking about Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. Now, Star Wars Rise of the Resistance originally opened up in December of 2019. I didn't get a chance to write it for the first month there. Unfortunately, it was a very, very, very rough month for me. Like, really, I could not stand it because everyone was like, it's such a cool ride. I just could not get the virtual queue, and it was a rough time. Let me just tell you, it was a very rough time. However, Star Wars Rise of the Resistance is one of the most technologically advanced attractions that Disney has ever created. At the time, it was the most advanced attraction of all time. With trackless systems that take you through the Resistance, it is actually a 2-part attraction. We start off by going through the Resistance bomb, or not bomb shelter, kind of a bomb shelter. It's actually their base. I don't know why I started saying bomb shelter, besides the fact that I started thinking about the thermal detonator bombs they can find in line, and that's the only reason I said bomb therapy. But you go through the Rebel base or the Resistance base until you eventually are briefed by Rey and BB-8, who take you on a wild adventure to try to escape the planet of Batuu because First Order ships are on their way to attack you. So along the way, you escape. However, you are captured and kidnapped by the one, the only Kylo Ren. As you go through, you are joined by some Resistance people who are also on board, that snuck on board, and are going to help you escape as you go through one of the most mind-boggling, most amazing, most unbelievable attractions that anyone in their entire world has ever experienced, which is going to bring us to our first vote of the night. Which one do you want to have go on to the next round? The Walt Disney World Railroad or Star Wars Rise of the Resistance? You have about 90 seconds to throw your votes into the comments. Start going through now. I've never been on Rise, unfortunately, so I don't know if I can faithfully vote for it, but I want to vote Rise. Is that your vote for Rise? Julian, make your decision. I am going to go with whatever you actually say. This is my vote. And that's how we're going to do it. Okay. We got some votes coming in. I love both of these attractions so much that it is a difficult one to vote. However, Rise of the Resistance, in my mind, is probably one of the most... Wait, I am so confused here. Frank Pham, what's going on here? You got this picture and this picture. So is there two Frank Pham 06s with different profile pictures voting right now? Okay, we're going to be paying attention to that as we go through here as well. I love the Walt Disney World Railroad. I actually wrote it earlier today, but at the same time, Rise of the Resistance is one of my favorite attractions of all time. It probably is my favorite. Well, not probably. It is my favorite attraction over at Disney's Hollywood Studios. But we're going to give you guys about 30 more seconds to throw your votes in here to see which one is going to be moving on to our first round and which one will be the one that goes through into our next thing. Rise of the Resistance, if it was Disneyland Railroad, I would have chose that. Disneyland Railroad is one of our choices for later on. So my husband is in the wrong account. I'm mind boggled that it's the same name though, and there are different pictures. Look at that. Look, it says Frank Pham 06, and there's that picture. And then this one right here says Frank Pham 06 with this picture. That's mind boggling. I don't know how that's doing that. Okay, you guys are done with your vote. Let's go through and tally them up. We've got 1 for the Walt Disney World Railroad, 2 for the Railroad, 1 for Rise of the Resistance. Rise of the Resistance, that is a 2-2 vote right now. Then we have 3-2, 3-3 with Rise of the Resistance tying it up right there. We have a 4-3 vote with the Walt Disney World Railroad coming from behind. Then we got 5-3 vote. Railroad is still going strong. 5-4, Rise of the Resistance has tied it up again. 5-5, Rise of the Resistance is tied up right now. Oh, and that's the vote from earlier for under the other account. So it's still a 5-5 vote right now. I like how the scene of Rise continues outside the ride. You can find where you crashed. Yes, isn't that cool? Oh, it's tied. Or wait, Shelly, is that your vote? Shelly, is that your vote? Oh, no, you had Railroad. You had Railroad. Okay, so we are currently at a 5-5 vote, which means I am the first tiebreaker of the evening, which also means that the massacres that happen to characters like, well, not characters, movies like Brotherware are about to take place again. However, like I said, I absolutely love the Walt Disney World Railroad. It is one of my favorite attractions of all time. I love going on it, and I could go around the circle around Magic Kingdom all the time. However, I'm voting for Rise of the Resistance. Rise of the Resistance is moving on to our next round here. Rise wins. Okay, I need 2 numbers. We are going to our miscellaneous category. I need 2 numbers between 1 and 14. Throw your votes into the comments, or not your votes. Throw your numbers. I need 2 numbers between 1 and 14. Throw them into the comments starting right now. Okay, we got number 2 and number 6 are going to be our first 2 numbers that popped up on my side. So number 2 against number 6 is going to be our first round here in our miscellaneous category tonight. Oh, well, this is an easy vote for me because I've never experienced one. However, I'm going to try to still do justice for the thing that I've never done because that's the way we do it around here. Let's start off with the one that I have done because it's delicious. Okay, so when we started doing the miscellaneous section, a lot of people out there start to throw different things out there about food options. Lots of different food options came out, and one... Oh, Frank, you just missed our first vote, and I actually had to kill off the Walt Disney World Railroad for Rise of the Resistance. However, I wish Frank was here because I feel like he would have voted for Rise of the Resistance, and I wouldn't have had to make that terrible, terrible decision. Okay, so our next vote here is a vote of food versus a vote of luxury. So let's get to it. Casey's Corner, found on Main Street, USA, is one of the most amazing, I was going to say attractions, but one of the most amazing restaurants that you can find at Walt Disney World. Not only does it pay tribute to different things like the 1888 classic poem, Casey at the Bat. You can actually find the address of Casey's Corner is 1888 in reference to the year that the poem was actually created. It was actually adapted into a package film for Disney back in the 1940s. And then, of course, a few years after the Magic Kingdom first opened up, actually, it was probably 20 years later, the beloved location known as Coke Corner at the corner of Main Street, USA, was adapted and switched over into Casey's Corner. If you go in the back room, you can actually find the scoreboard for Mudville versus the Visitors, where the mighty Casey struck out. And then on top of that, we have amazing hot dogs out there, plus one of my favorite things in all of the Magic Kingdom to eat, which is the corn dog nuggets with some cheese sauce. Going up against that is the moment of luxury that we all know and love. Yes, that is the hot dog place. Yes, it's the hot dog place. A place of luxury that we all know and love. However, I personally have never experienced this myself. So let's call in a cast member from this location to help us out. Hello, it is me from Aulani. Oh, really? Okay. Aulani Resort opened up in 2009 over on the island of Oahu. No? Oahu? Or is it just Hawaii? Is it on? No, I think it's on the island of Oahu. I've never been. It's in Hawaii, though. It's in the actual state of Hawaii, found out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Now, Aulani is a luxurious resort hosted by Disney. Actually, Disney created the entire resort, with the Imagineer Joe Rohde being the main Imagineer of them all. Joe Rohde, of course, is famous for different things like creating Disney's Animal Kingdom. Just, a small little thing that he's done. In addition to that, he's got things like Pandora, and he also did Guardians of the Galaxy, Mission Breakout. Both of those he was the head of, and both of them open on the exact same day, which is mind-boggling to me that this guy was creating two different projects on two different coasts that both open up on the exact same day. Mind-boggling. Absolutely mind-boggling to me. But anyways, he created so many different things, but he actually grew up on the island of Hawaii, which helped out with the creation of Aulani. So when you go through, there is a lot of the different culture of Hawaii in there, keeping the essence of the vibe of the island alive, while also having that little touch of Disney magic. While you're there, you can also meet some Disney characters, along with having a Disney meal. And then they also have a lazy river out front. One of the coolest things that I would love to experience someday is they have it so when you go through the one room, there are all these different Hawaiian phrases, and with them are different objects that are carved in, or actual items that are represented by the island of Hawaii, which is going to bring us to our second vote of the night. Which one would you like to have move on to the next round? I was going to say Coke Corner, Casey's Corner, or Aulani, a Disney resort? You guys have about 90 seconds to throw your votes in, starting right now. Boom, 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 boom. That was Skype, by the way. I've never been to Aulani. My parents got to go to Aulani right after it first opened, and I was very, very, very jealous of them. Since I've never been to Aulani, I am going Casey's Corner. That's one vote for Casey's. We'll let the votes keep on going through before we start going through. I feel like Casey's Corner is going to win because, much like me, I've never experienced Aulani. I feel like for people who have experienced Aulani, Aulani is probably the clear-cut winner over corn dog nuggets or a nice Hawaiian holiday. Okay, let's go through here. You've got about 10 seconds left to throw your votes in there. And we have a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's get our votes in. We got one for Casey's Corner. Oh, while it is a very different bracket option, I've seen the ads, but Casey's Corner is a must-stop every time I go to Magic Kingdom, and thus I must vote Casey's Corner. I love it when you guys actually explain it. It just makes my day. So that's 2 for Casey's Corner, 1 for Aulani, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, 5 to 1, 6 to 1, 7 to 1, 8 to 1. Casey's, which I didn't love until recently, listening to the piano player, which is pretty fun. I love the Casey's Corner piano. Amazing. Alani, I have been and would love to go back. There we go. See, the people who've been to Alani, I told you, I think those people are going to be the ones voting for Alani. I wish I would go for Alani. However, Casey's Corner is our winner on this thing. What you guys don't know is if Casey's Corner wins at the end of this bracket, you guys get a free thing of Casey's Corner nuggets. But if Alani had won, I would have sent one of you guys to Alani. So you guys just ruin your chances. However, let's move on to our next category, which is going to be movies. I need two numbers between 1 and 4, or I'm sorry, not 14, 1 and 12. Throw two numbers in between 1 and 12. First two numbers to pop up in the comments on my side will be the ones that we're going to go through and vote for tonight. Have a good night, buddy. We have a 9 and I'll take some quarter nuggets. 9 and no. We'll see what the final winner is. If Casey's Corner wins the entire thing, we'll have a day where if you guys come to the park and we'll have like a meetup, and whoever's there gets corn dog nuggets, just one, not a whole bucket. 9 versus 6 is going to be our next vote here. So let's go and figure out what our vote is going to be. I'm so happy right now. Okay, it is a good thing that someone went back and figured out what it was for us, because number 6 was originally number 8. And as you guys know, if you were watching at the start of the show, we had no idea what number 8 was until someone went back and watched the old episode, which was the one, the only Inside Out. Bum, bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, bum. By the way, Inside Out is one of the best soundtracks, in my personal opinion, that Pixar's ever done. It's one of those that if I am trying to like calm down and like relax while I'm trying to go to sleep, that's the movie that sometimes I'll put on in the background, and like that, literally I'm probably out before they even get to the first words, because that music is just so calm and it's so peaceful. However, the story of Inside Out takes us into the head, literally the inside the head of Riley, a girl who is on the brink of, well, she's going to be a teenager in the next movie. So she is probably around the ages of 10 to 12 in the first film. She has just moved from Minnesota off to San Francisco, and of course, her emotions are going crazy. Inside her head, we have 5 different emotions. We've got joy, sadness, anger, fear, and disgust. And yes, disgust. Disgust? Wait, did I say one of them twice? I think I might have said one of them. No, that's all. But along the way, we meet several other characters inside of her head, including fan favorite Bing Bong, who's your friend that likes to play Bing Bong, Bing Bong. And by the way, Bing Bong still, to this day, spoiler alert, is still one of the saddest deaths in any film history. I was absolutely terrible. Like, every time that he dies, it's just horrible. It was such a sad death. And I absolutely love Bing Bong. Take her to the moon for me. When he just, anyways, going up against Inside Out, our forgotten film at the start of this bracket, is a film that most people probably grew up with if you are around my age, or you are just kind of maybe vaguely familiar with a little song that starts off with "Na sueña which of course is The Lion King. Lion King is a classic film that came out back in 1994 and tells the story of Simba, who just can't wait to be king. However, along the way, there's other people who just can't wait to be king, including his uncle Scar, who decides to come up with a master plan to kill his brother Mufasa along with his nephew Simba, and then he will become the king instead. Of course, Simba escapes to a Hakuna Matata lifestyle with Timon and Pumbaa, and eventually realizes that maybe, just maybe, destiny is calling him and he has to go back to Pride Rock. Of course, Nala helps too, and Rafiki, and a massive cloud in the shape of his father, helping him guide his way back to Pride Rock to become the rightful king of the Pride Lands. Which brings us to our next vote of the evening. Which one would you like to have move on to our next round? Would it be Inside Out or The Lion King? You have about 90 seconds to throw in your votes. starting right now. If it was Lion King 2, I'd vote for it. I like Lion King 2, but I like Lion King OG a whole lot better. I like this comment right here because what he doesn't see is on the YouTube side of things, a lot of people are voting for Inside Out. I love both of these movies. I know which one I'm going to pick if it comes down to me destroying one of the films again. But we will see which one it comes down to. You guys have about 30 seconds left, so throw your votes into the comments below. By the way, again, if you're not already subscribed, make sure you go through and subscribe because we are currently sitting at 4,202 subscribers. If we get up to 4,203, we will go into an extra inning. And if we go up to 4,204, we'll go into 2, etc., etc., etc. If we go up to like 4,250, we'll finish our entire bracket tonight. So just send your friends over. Okay. Let's go through and tally up this votes because our voting has complete. We have 1 for Inside Out, 2 for Inside Out. It says, I feel like Lion King is going to destroy Inside Out, so I'm going to go give it some love. Inside Out. 2-0 vote right now. Inside Out is in the lead. 2-1, Lion King gets 1 vote. 3-1 for Inside Out. For Daniel, Lion King. 3-2, 3-3, 4-3. That's it. Oh, missplit. Okay, but I counted this as the other. 4-4. Is that 4-4? 5-4, 6-4, 7-4. Wait, okay. We have to go back and vote, or not vote. We have to go through and tally this up because I'm so confused right now. Okay, we have 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 3-1. This one is going to be corrected later on, but we're just going to count this one here. 3-1, 3-2, 3-3, 4-3 with Lion King in the lead. 4-4 tie, 5-4 Lion King in the lead. 6-4 Lion King in the lead. 7-4 Lion King in the lead. 7-4 Lion King is the one that is moving on to our next round. That was a lot closer than I thought. I was thinking it was going to be Lion King by a lot. But let's go to our next round. We're going to be going for 2 characters. I am looking for 2 numbers between the numbers 1 and 12. The first 2 numbers that pop up in the comments will be the ones that we are going to choose for our next round here. 1 through 12. Let's see those numbers. Bum, bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, bum, bum. I love Inside Out. I'm excited. Let me also know, while you're throwing your numbers in there, who else out there is extremely excited for Inside Out 2? I'm very excited for Inside Out 2. We got number 7 and number 4 are our first 2 that popped up there. 7 and 4. Oh, that's not. Oh, that's my book. It's like, what is this one that I just opened up? It's the Word document for a closer look at the Disney's Animal Kingdom, Dinoland USA. 7 versus 4. Oh. Okay. Let's start us off with, we just talked about a Pixar movie. We might as well talk about another Pixar movie here before we go into its competitor. Oh, wait. So when we are going through the history of different Disney characters, now that I say that, I know that I've got this character right here. Ooh, and you can't see it because it's being covered. Haha. Do we have the other character here too? Would this be a really, I know I have that character, but he's over there. Now you know it's a he. Oh, wait. In the history of different Disney films, I cannot wait for Inside Out 2. It will devastate me, and that's what I'm here for. As we go through the history of different Pixar films, there was a constant trend of films from 1995 all the way up until 2011 that Pixar kept on coming up with more of a boy-centric main character. That all changed in 2012 when we got a brand new character. Remember, we are talking about the characters now, not the movies themselves, and that character is the one and only Merida from the movie Brave. Merida tells these, or not tells, let's start going through the story of Brave. Merida is a daughter of a king, and all she wants to do is have it so she is free to run around and shoot her archery every day while riding her horse Magnus. But of course, her mother wants her to be more ladylike and to choose a amazing spouse out of a not so amazing lineup of spouses. She decides to shoot for her own hand and shows that being independent is what it's all about. Along the way, we learn a lot about friendship and mother-daughter relationships, and overall, we have a great time throughout the thing. Going up against Merida is a character who I thought I had it right here, but we have a character who is probably one of the most beloved characters of all time. I apologize in advance, Merida, but one of the most popular characters of all time. He originally debuted in a book series, several different books, and then eventually debuted in the Disney World in a series of short cartoons. Actually, 3 different cartoons that were eventually in 1977 put together into a package film called The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. And of course, that character is Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh, Pooh, Winnie the Pooh, Pooh. Winnie the Pooh is just a lovable, fluffy teddy bear who all he wants to do all day is be with his friends, have some honey, and spend his time with Christopher Robin. He is not the most intelligent being. He is not the most outgoing and running around being. However, he is a loyal friend through and through, which is going to bring us to our next vote for you. What do you want to have go on to the next round between these two? Is it Merida or is it Pooh? We just became Dr. Seuss there. You have 90 seconds to vote. What will you do? Oh. I was like, I know I have Winnie the Pooh here, and I'm just, like one of these figurines. These were when the Disney 100 was going on, they had it so there were these different character packages that you could buy at Target exclusively, and they had different themes to them. So this was the adventure package, and they had 9 characters. They had Merida, Mr. Toad, Robin Hood, Miguel, Bo Peep, and then the rest are over there. Winnie the Pooh. My niece is obsessed with Winnie the Pooh. Not as much now as she was when she was like 2, but when she was 2, Winnie the Pooh was the greatest thing that could have ever happened to this child. And still to this day, I think she still loves Winnie the Pooh. You guys have about 15 seconds left to throw your votes in. I'm looking at the votes here. We might have our first shutout here, unless I'm just... Okay, let's throw our votes in here. We got Winnie the Pooh 1, 2 for Pooh, 3 for Pooh, 4 for Pooh, 5 for Pooh, 6 for Pooh. Oh, I love both characters, but I'm voting Merida. Oh, Merida gets a vote. It's not going to be a shutout tonight, guys. 7-1. That was 6-1. Wait, was that 6-1? It doesn't really matter. 7-1, 8-1. I work at Target. Target mentioned, oh yeah, Pooh, and we have a Merida there. We have Pooh is going to be moving on to our next round here. Congratulations, Winnie the Pooh. You did it. Pooh wins. Okay, we are going to attractions. I need 2 numbers. Between the numbers 1 and 12, throw those numbers into the comments right now. First 2 that I see are going to be the ones that are moving on to our next battle here. We have some great attractions, too. Actually, you guys did an amazing job of throwing these different things out. I don't know how I didn't know Inside Out was one of them. That number 1. 1 is going to be one of them. What is going up against number 1? Going up against number 1 is... Oh, what's it going to be? I know what number 1 is. I'm just waiting. Oh, and number 9. 1 versus 9 is going to be our next showdown here. 1 versus... Oh my gosh. Okay. This this is going to be a good one. And I think I know what people are going to vote, but I really don't know what people are going to vote because someone actually already brought up one of these attractions earlier tonight when it wasn't even in the vote. So let's see what happens. Let's start off with the one that was already mentioned in our vote earlier tonight, which was the one, the only, the Disneyland Railroad. The Disneyland Railroad, much like the Walt Disney World Railroad, has been a staple attraction at Disneyland since 1955 when the park first opened up on July 17th. Much like Disney World, there are multiple trains that are found there, and all those trains are actually old locomotives that Disney found scattered around the country, and then they brought them to Disneyland to create an amazing, amazing, amazing attraction. Currently, we have 4 different stops on the Disneyland Railroad. We have Main Street, USA, New Orleans Square, Fantasyland Station, Fantasyland. That's what they say in the thing. I always love it. And then Tomorrowland as well. In addition to that, it's like a bonus attraction in an attraction, because not only do we have the Disneyland Railroad taking us around, but we also get to go through the Grand Canyon, where we have the Grand Canyon of the olden days, and then, or I'm sorry, what it looks like now, and then the olden days with amazing dinosaur scenes. It's a very difficult attraction to top. However, I've got a feeling the other one might top it. Going up against the Disneyland Railroad is an attraction that originally debuted at the 1964 World's Fair, but it wasn't the name that it's now. It was known as the Ford Motor Speedway, Magic Motor Speedway, and what would happen was it would take guests into a ride vehicle, a car, and they would go through the upper level of the entire fair and look down on other attractions. This idea was switched into something else when it came over to Disneyland and became known as the People Mover. And then, of course, in 1975, it would make its way once again to another park, Walt Disney World, where the People Mover still goes through today, starting off in the middle of Tomorrowland and then takes you all around the glorious Tomorrowland. Now, it is one of the most relaxing attractions of all time. However, going from Disneyland, a very relaxing Disneyland Railroad, versus People Mover, a very relaxing People Mover, it is going to be interesting to see what people vote for. You guys have about 90 seconds to vote for what you want to move to the next round, the People Mover or the Disneyland Railroad. Throw your votes into the comments right now. I love the People Mover, but I do love the Disneyland Railroad. If Disneyland Railroad was going up against most of the other attractions, I think I would vote for that. However, I love the People Mover so much. There's like, but let me say, because I know a lot of people out there are Disney World people, and I'm not trying to make you go against the People Mover, but I do want to point out to you guys, if you've never gone to Disneyland and you've never gone on the Disneyland Railroad and you think it's going to be just like the Walt Disney World Railroad, it's not. And I wish you guys would all have the opportunity to go out to Disneyland someday and ride the Disneyland Railroad, specifically from Tomorrowland to Main Street, USA, and from New Orleans Square to Fantasyland, because those two stretches are some of the best attractions that Disney's ever done. And I'm not saying that lightly. I truly mean it. However, I'm not even, I'm like encouraging the thing that I don't want to win, but still, it is an amazing attraction. Justice for you killing the Walt Disney World Railroad. I love the Walt Disney World Railroad too, but I do like Rise Through Systems better. Okay, our voting is up. Let's go through our votes here. We got one for People Mover. Come on now, People Mover. We have a 2-1 vote right now. 2-2. We have a 3-2 vote with People Mover in the lead. 4-2 vote. 5-2 vote. 5-3. Wait a minute. Wait. I have to go back here. Wait. We got 1, 2, 2-1, 2-2, 3-2 People Mover. 4-2, 5-2, 5-3. 5-4, 6-4, 7-4, 8-4. The scene on the Disneyland trailer is just so much better. Yes, this. It is with a heavy heart that, and also a little bit of joy, that People Mover is moving on and breaking down the Disneyland Railroad. I truly mean it, though. If you've never been to Disneyland, 1, take me with you. And 2, if you go, and I know a few of you out there are going for your first time this year, when you go, do yourselves a favor and make sure you do a full loop on the Disneyland Railroad. You will not regret it. And it's so good. Like, do the full loop. There's like one stretch where it's like Fantasyland to Tomorrowland, it's like, and the Main Street to New Orleans Square is not the greatest, but if you do the full loop, it's like, amazingness. Okay, we are going to miscellaneous category. I need 2 numbers between 1 and 12. The first 2 to pop up in the comments will be our thing. How is the seating different? So instead of facing forward, you actually, there's one train that faces forward, but the rest of them all face out to the side. So the entire time you're actually watching the park. And the Frontierland section you're like above the water. So it's really cool. Like you're above the rivers of America. Yeah, and if you're lucky, you go inside the Lily Bell at Disneyland Railroad. No special cars on Peel Motor. That's true. Okay, we got number 4, and what's going to be going against number 4? I need one other number out there. Any number will do. Oh, I have 4 versus 1. 4 versus 1 is going to be our next round here in the category of miscellaneous. Oh, this is a matchup where there's a few people in the chat room right now who are going to lose their mind if the one thing does not win. Like, I'll be sad if one thing doesn't win, but I know a few people will literally go into the internet and destroy all of you. Okay, let's start off with one of the most classic and one of the most iconic, one of the most delicious things that anyone can get anywhere in Disneyland, Walt Disney World, Tokyo Disney, Disneyland Paris. There are so many places that you can get this thing, and it's amazing. It is great because we all love Mickey-shaped things, and we also love that tasty treat, a pretzel. So what better thing in the world than to put the two together and create a Mickey pretzel? That's right, the Mickey pretzel is an iconic Disney dish that you can get pretty much any park around the world. However, the thing that makes it unique is there are several different versions of it. You can get cream cheese filled ones. You can get, at one point you had cinnamon sugar ones. Those were amazing. They got rid of them. I was so mad. They've also had different fillings in several different things. And then, of course, you can still get the salted ones every single day, found at Walt Disney World, Disneyland, and several other locations around the world. Amazing snack for amazing people like you. Bing. Going up against it, though, is something that might, just might, take down a pretzel. Now, imagine this. Close your eyes for a second. I'll let you know when you can open them up. You've gone through the Magic Kingdom for the day. You've ridden some of your favorite attractions. You've gone on Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, Space Mountain, People Mover, which you just voted through in the last round. You've gone on Pirates of the Caribbean, Haunted Mansion, and then you start to think, boy, am I getting hungry? You know what? I think I'm going to go through and maybe grab a snack, maybe a Mickey pretzel or a Mickey Mouse ice cream bar. And then you say, I can't do that. I can't spoil the dinner that is ahead of me. Open your eyes, and you'll see right in front of you is none other than Ohana, a staple restaurant found at the Polynesian Resort. Ohana has been delighting guests since the 1990s, and before that, it was another restaurant, which I don't remember. So we're just going to ignore that. 1990, we got one of the most amazing restaurants of all time. And yes, they have good breakfasts, but they're not as amazing as the dinners. At dinner, you get a great bread selection of pineapple bread, followed by a salad, which to me is but in addition to that, you get pot stickers, noodles, broccoli, chicken wings. And then on top of that, you get the skewers of shrimp, steak, more chicken, and then you get an amazing dessert. This pineapple thing with jagger with ice cream on top. And overall, you'll go through and have an amazing time. And finally, roll your way out of the restaurant completely uncomfortable, but never regretting what you just put yourself through. And that is going to bring us to our next vote here. You have 90 seconds to throw your votes in between the Mickey pretzel and Ohana. Throw your votes into the comments right now. Now I'm curious if people are out there going to be like waiting for me to be like, oh yeah, I'll buy anyone Ohana who wants to join us for Ohana. This one for me is a no-brainer. I'm assuming it's a no-brainer for you guys too, but we're still going to give you guys the opportunity to throw your votes in. But yeah, there is one place that I go to for my birthday dinner every single year, and its name is not Mickey Pretzel. Let's just put it that way. My favorite restaurant on Disney property is without a doubt the one that is getting, I think, all of the votes right now. I've not seen. I haven't looked at all the votes, but I have not seen one yet that does not belong to it. You guys have about 10 more seconds to throw your votes in before we go through our count here. count. 1, two, and our time is up. We have 1 for Wahana with the follow-up of hands down with the follow-up of not even a question. You couldn't write all of that in one. Frank, this is why I always say that you text like a teenage girl. 1 vote for Ohana, 2 vote for Ohana, 3 Ohana, 4 Ohana, 5 Ohana. There's a pretzel. Wait a minute. What's happening here? Wait a minute. I'd vote for anything besides me. Okay, wait a minute. We're gonna have to actually count the votes. I just saw the first 5 votes and I was like, oh, it's Ohana by a land. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's actual count. I just assumed that Ohana was going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Ohanas. Okay, we have a 5 to 1, 5 to 2, 5 to 3, 5 to 4, 6 to 4, 6 to 5, 6 to 6. It is a 6 to 6 vote. I am the tiebreaker. No offense, Mickey Pretzel, but as Julian says, I'd rather vote for anything other than Mickey Pretzel. Auntie Ants is way better. I agree with that. I'm not a big fan of the Mickey Pretzel. I am a massive fan of Ohana, and Ohana is moving on to the next round. I cannot believe it came down to that. Okay, we have time for at least 1 more vote, possibly 2 more votes. I need 2 numbers between 1 and 10 now. This is now going back to our movie category. 2 numbers between 1 and 10. First 2 to pop up is going to be our next one now. That was weird. That was beyond weirdly close. I also want to know, while you guys are throwing numbers out, the people who voted for pretzel, have you ever eaten at Ohana? Because if not, you are missing out on life. Like, you have not truly lived until you've eaten at Ohana. All right, we got 10. I need 1 more number out there. 10, and I cannot believe I really cannot believe that was that close. Taste buds. It's a legit question. We still need 1 more number though. We only have 1. I don't know if anyone threw it, because this whole vote was by people last week. They threw in what they wanted, and churro was not one of the things that people threw in there. We got some other really random things in there, but yeah, unfortunately, churro did not make it in there. All right, 10. I still need 1 more number. If we're still looking for 1 more number, there we go. 10 and 1. I have a garlic and pork allergy, and Sally can't eat. Oh, okay, that makes sense. I accept that answer. 10 and 1. The Disneyland churro is a lot better, is my opinion. You only eat things that are Mickey shaped. Well, you probably starved to death in the real world. Okay, 1 and 10 is our next one here. Which one is it? We're in movies right now. Oh, this is going to be this is probably the most interesting one of all of our matchups so far. I think this might be the most interesting matchup because I really have zero idea of what you guys are going to be voting for on this one. So let's get to it. Let's start off with the 1977 classic film, which is tough to say because there was a lot of good films that came out in 1977, but this was actually going to be a live action film where we have the main star only appeared on screen for a very short period of time, which is ironic because he's actually the main character in the film. I mean, the whole film title describes him. We're talking about Pete's Dragon. Boom, 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 bum, 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 boom, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. I love you too. Okay, Pete's Dragon tells the story of a boy named Pete who has run away from the people who have bought him, and he has escaped to a place called Passamaquoddy. When he makes his way to Passamaquoddy, he meets a drunk Andy Rooney, who was on a cruise ship with me one time, by the way, and he also meets a lovely lady, and the two of them go through and they actually run the lighthouse together. Pete slowly becomes family with them, and he starts to tell them about the dragon, Elliot, his imaginary dragon, who's actually very real, because a dragon. I swear I saw a dragon. Now the entire film does go on for a lot longer than it probably needs to. However, overall, we have amazing stories of friendship, love, um, trying to stay away from people who aren't very good or toxic people in our lives. Overall, great music. I'll be your candle on the water. Great characters, a lot of fun overall. Just in my opinion, just a little bit too long. Going up against Pete's Dragon is one of the biggest films of all time when it comes to characters. There are probably more characters by name in this film than any other one because there are more children in this film than any other Disney film that's ever been created. In fact, you have 99 children in this film and 2 adults. And well, and then a bunch of humans too, because the 99 plus the 2 equals 101. That's right. We're talking about 101 Dalmatians. Cruella de Vil. Cruella de Vil. 101 Dalmatians tells the story of Pongo and Perdita, 2 dogs that fall in love and force their owners, Roger and Anita, to fall in love as well. The 2 of them do get married, both the dogs and the humans, and they have 15 amazing puppies together. But Anita's childhood roommate, or not childhood, her college roommate, comes in and kidnaps the 15 puppies. They go off to try to find the puppies, where they discover that it's not just 15 puppies that have been kidnapped, but there's actually 99 who are being kidnapped specifically so Cruella de Vil can have a fur coat made out of the fur of the puppies. Pretty, killing puppies? I don't think so, lady. So along the way, Pongo, Perdita, Sergeant Tibbs, and so many other characters go off and save the puppies and bring them back home, where they go to a plantation. We'll have a plantation sensation. Wait, how's that song go? Bum, 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 bum. I can't think of the lyrics. But anyways, let's go to our vote. It's between 101 Dalmatians and Pete's Dragon. You have about 90 seconds to throw your votes in, starting right now. We'll have a Dalmatian plantation. That's it. We'll have a Dalmatian plantation where all of our Dalmatians roam. That's how it goes. Cruella de Vil, in my opinion, is the worst. Like, not like bad. Like, well, she's bad, but I think she's the best Disney villain. As in, she is so evil. I love her. And if you've never seen the movie Cruella, the live-action movie that just came out a few years ago, amazing movie, and you should watch it if you've never watched it. I think it's one of the best live-action Disney films that they've ever done, based off of Thingamajigger. All right, you guys have about 15 more seconds to throw your votes in here, so we'll let you guys keep on voting. I do love Pete's Dragon as well. Did anyone out there see the remake of Pete's Dragon with Robert Redford? It was okay. It wasn't great. It was okay. But there were hints that like he was the original Pete. But it was okay. Okay, let's go through and throw our votes in. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4 for 101 Dalmatians, 4-1, 4-2, 5-2, 6-2, 7-2. You only won. Yes, I know that. 8-2. Actually, Frank, you were the one who threw this category out there last week, I think. 8-2 right now. 9-2. It is a 9-2 vote. We have a lot of people who did not vote. However, our voting time ended. So 101 Dalmatians has ended here. 101 Dalmatians wins. Okay, that brings us to the end of our time here. But let's take a look to see if we have any more subscribers so we can go into extra rounds. No. However, I am feeling quite generous. Let's do one more round for the evening. And while we go through this round, if anyone out there has not subscribed yet on YouTube, make sure you go subscribe. Or if you know anyone who wants to subscribe, send them over to subscribe as well. And if we get to 4,203 while we go through our last vote here, we will go into an extra round as well, a bonus round. But I'm feeling generous. So I need 2 numbers between 1 and 10 for our characters poll. Throw them down into the comments right now. The first 2 that I see will be the first 2 that move on to our next round here. The clawed kid from Quasimodo is the most evil villain, killing kids. But did he kill a kid? He was going to kill Quasimodo, but I don't think he actually went through with it. Well, I know he didn't go through that one. 4 and 5 are their first two that popped up there in the comments. So 4 and 5 are going to be possibly our final matchup of the night. Oh my gosh, this is a battle of similar personalities. Let me tell you. Let's do that. Okay, let's do this. Okay, 4 versus 5. These two characters both have very similar personalities to one each another. By the way, we do have a lot of people who just joined in. I know you guys can't see that, but I'm pointing at the number that's on my screen. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. We are going through and we're doing a bracket of Disney characters, or Disney, a lot of different Disney things, where you guys are trying to figure out what the best Disney thing of all time is. We are going into extra innings every time that we get a new subscriber on here. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe, because we have like 7 people who just joined. Between, I don't know if they're on Facebook or if they're on YouTube, but no matter what, subscribe, and then we can go into more innings here. And even the people in the chat room right now are saying, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Well, I'm going through and explaining our next round here. Okay, these two characters are very, very similar in personalities. However, one of them doesn't talk. So let's start off with the one that doesn't talk. Starting way back in 1937 with our very first full-length animated feature film, we have not seven dwarfs in the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. We have Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which tells the story about Snow White, and you guessed it, 7 dwarfs. Now, Snow White is an amazing film, a classic film, but the great thing about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is we have 7 very unique characters that are all based off of their own personality of either being happy, grumpy, bashful, sleepy, sneezy. Which one did I miss? Happy, grumpy, Doc, or Dopey. Dopey is the character that we're going to be talking about here. Now, Dopey is a classic character who we all know and love, and we've known and loved him our entire lives. I don't have him here. I do have a massive stuffed animal of Dopey in the far corner of my condo, way over there. So Dopey, I have a sister I wish didn't saw it. Okay. So Dopey is one of the 7 dwarfs, and out of all the 7 dwarfs, even though he is pretty dopey, he is also probably one of the most courageous, most kind, and most loyal companions to Snow White throughout the entire film. But we also have another character who is also loving, kind, and loyal to their companion throughout their whole film, even though they are very dopey as well. Because back in 2003, we got a brand new Pixar film that told the story of a man who had lost his child, and the only fish that he could count on in the entire ocean was Dory, a character who was kind of dopey, very forgetful, but very loyal, very kind, and very loving to her friend Marlin along the way. Now, as we go through the story of Finding Nemo, Dory is the main character that will go through and have it so she helps out these characters while also giving us classic lines like P. Sherman 42 Wallaby Way. She also mutters in her sleep, and she sees bouncy jellyfish and so many other opportunities where she just embraces it along the way. Which brings us to our final vote, possibly, of the night. Which one would you like to have move on to our next round? Dopey or Dory? 2 characters, very similar personalities, but also at the same time, very, very different characters altogether. Throw your votes in the comments. You have about 90 seconds to vote, starting right now. This is a tough one because I love Dory, but I also love Dopey. I think I know who I would vote for. I'm 99. If it comes down to a tiebreaker, I have decided in my head who I will vote for. But at the same time, I feel like it's not going to be who everyone's going to be happy about. But that's why people should vote, because if you're not voting, then who knows what's going to happen. I do like this sentiment here. Dory, I fell in love with Tyler Dory and Nemo 2. Tyler Dory is one of the most adorable characters in the history of cinema. Okay, you guys have still 40 seconds left to vote, so I'm going to let you guys keep on voting there. Yeah, both of these characters, amazing characters. But yeah, I know who I would vote for. I'll tell you who I'm going to vote for, who I would vote for at the end of the vote. Especially if it comes down to a tiebreaker, then I'm going to have to tell you who I would vote for. I'm still shocked that I had to vote for Ohana. Like I had to be the tiebreaker between Ohana and a pretzel. That blows my mind. Okay, you've got 5, 4, 3, 2. Let's go through your votes here. We have Dopey, my favorite, is my mom's favorite character. Dopey 2-1 or 2-0 vote. Dory 2-1, 2-2. Dory is now tied up. 3-2. Dory's taking lead. 4-2, 5-2, 5-3, 5-4, 6-4, 6-5, 6-6. Oh, what? I'm the tiebreaker again. Okay. Okay. Let me walk you through my thinking here. Voting is done. This is the final vote right here. This is the final decision right here. So I love both these characters so much. Finding Nemo is the first movie besides Star Wars that I went to see it in theaters multiple times. Like I was obsessed with Finding Nemo, and a big part of that was because of Dory. I absolutely love Dory. I thought she was a great character. I go on Finding Nemo over at Epcot all the time, and I think the funniest part of it is Dory. I think she's just a great character. At the same time, though, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is not my favorite Disney film. Like it's not. I still enjoy it. I'll still watch it from time to time. But when I go back and look at all the old classic films, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, it's such a slow moving movie, and because of that, whenever Dopey's on screen, it just brightens up the entire room. And I love Dopey so much. And if you know anything about me and my running career, I do the Dopey Challenge every year. And part of the reason why I got into the Dopey Challenge at the start was not because I thought, 48.6 miles is cool. It was because I love Dopey. I have a massive Dopey stuffed animal in that corner of my condo. And because of that, I've loved Dopey my entire life. He is 100% one of my favorite characters. Like literally, he is one of my favorite Disney characters. And no offense to Dory, but Dopey wins this round. Dopey is moving on to our next round here. That was tough, but Dopey is moving on. I do apologize to everyone out there who did vote for Dory, because I do like Dory a lot, but Dopey is just one of my favorite characters. I have killed Dory, sadly. Finding Dory is a great film too. I do like Dory a lot, but Dopey is just iconic. I don't know. Wait a minute. Wait, what do you say? Judy, I just want you to know that I wouldn't even have to think about it. You said Dopey. Wait a minute. Because of this, I might switch my vote to Dory. If my mom's declaring Eric, not even her blood son, to be her favorite son. Do we bring Dory back alive? No, Dopey lives. You can't switch for you already voted. Dopey moves on. All right, let's see if you guys got ourselves another bonus round or not here. We are still at 4,202, so we are going to be wrapping up our show right here. As always, tonight's episode is sponsored by our They May Not Like Me Now because I killed Dory. And they may love me more because sorry. Patreon fails. They put up with my stupid songs all the time, but they also vote for our pictures every single day over on Instagram. So if you're not a Patreon pal, let me know, and I will send you the information on how to become a Patreon pal. Now, Patreon pals, they make the world go round. All right, thank you everyone for joining us once again tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed our bracket series. Next week, if you want to, let me know. Actually, this is going to be our final vote here. Let me know in the vote comments right now. Do you want to have it so next week we continue our bracket series? If you want that, throw down, yes, I want the bracket series. If you don't, well, just say, something else. And this was our final vote for the night. While you guys do that, let's wrap things up. Thank you, everyone, for joining us once again this week. I hope everyone out there is having an amazing week. We will see you guys on Saturday for our Saturday in the Park. And apparently, because everyone in the chat room is throwing down about the brackets, we will continue next week with our bracket series. So make sure you keep on going through and joining us. Keep sending your friends over to subscribe so we go into extra innings next week. And of course, as always, remember that anything can happen if you let it. Until next time, have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye. Goodbye now. Goodbye. Bye-bye now. Goodbye. Yeah, the race is not this weekend, but next week. So next week we'll do brackets. The week after that, we'll do a recap. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Are they gone? Are they gone? Oh, good. My cheeks are just killing me. I just can't stand this kind of brain.